Hey there guys, Bibi here, back for video number 4, as promised. I have been away for like 3 weeks and I'll get into a little bit more depth about that in a minute. Today we are going to be talking about allergies. So what happened was, while I've been away, the week after, the Saturday after I posted my last video, I was taken to hospital from work. I had some severe abdominal pain and I basically was taken away in a big drama. And I've had sort of every kind of pelvic examination that you can think of, and was in, like I said, quite a lot of pain. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me while I was there, so now I'm basically just waiting for a outpatient procedure, a laparoscopy, to figure out, either confirm or not confirm, what they suspect is wrong with me. I won't go into it any more than that, but what I will do is shout out to the nurses who looked after me, Lorna and Bonnie, and you were pretty amazing. So thank you very much for that, guys. And the only downside really was that I couldn't see my partner or my family really while I was in hospital, while I was incapacitated. Once I could get up and go out and stuff, I could go and see people. But yeah, so I came out of hospital. I'm okay. I'm not in pain anymore. I was for about a week after I came out of hospital. But aside from that, I'm okay. And for the people that know me outside of YouTube, I'm good. I'm fine. Thank you for your messages. Also, the stress, obviously, like I said, has been a bit up and down. I showed you the bald spot on my head while I was actually dyeing my hair, so don't feel too sorry for me for that. But yeah, like I said, aside from that, I'm okay. So let's move on to the video, shall we? So, I'm just going to apologise in advance for the sound of rustling paper, because through unfortunate and unforeseen circumstances I haven't been able to get my laptop fixed just yet, but hopefully soon. But for now, we're just going to have to ignore the paper, I'm afraid. So, here we go. We're going to go into what allergies are, obviously how it manifests, so how if you tell that you've got an allergy, what the most common allergens are, so what the main things that most people react to, the difference between an an allergy and intolerance, because there is a difference between the two and a lot of people don't know that there's a difference between the two, and we're going to go into some treatments, some management methods, and some remedies, and some advice that I've been given from various different places that may or may not help you, so stay tuned for that. And obviously I'm going to ramble on at the end about myself, as I did in the last couple of videos too, so stay tuned, guys. Bear with me. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Hopefully it won't be any longer than I intend it to, but please just bear with me, okay? Thank you very much. Right, so what is an allergy? So an allergic reaction happens when something's introduced into your body, so like a food or a substance, that your immune system deems to be harmless to your body. So it releases histamines, which cause the red blotchy rashes, sneezing, itchy watery eyes, runny nose. Some people's asthma worsens, and in really severe cases, some people experience what we call anaphylaxis, which is where your throat closes up and it's really bad, but those people need to carry an EpiPen at all times. So obviously those are the symptoms. The main, or the most common, I don't want to say the main because some people everybody's different. So the most common things that people are treated for. So grass and tree pollen, which is where we get hay fever and allergic rhinitis. Dust mites. So the interesting thing about that is it's not actually the mites that we're allergic to. They eat our dead skin and our hair, and as obviously sensitive and dry skin sufferers, we shed quite a lot. They eat the dead skin and they eat the hair and they poop everywhere. And that's what we're allergic to. It's absolutely disgusting, but it's just a fact. There are foods, so the most common ones are nuts, grains, fruits, shellfish, eggs, dairy products. We've got insect stings and bites. Now, you've got insects that just bite, and they've usually got mandibles, and they're just sort of pierce maybe your skin, or not in the case of like ants and things like that. But with bees and wasps, when they sting you, they actually inject you with a venomous substance or something called formic acid. That's why it's so painful when they sting you, and as a response, your immune system releases histamines to the site of the bite, and that's where you get a little pustule at the site of the bite when you get bitten or stung. Medications, apparently some people are allergic to aspirin, ibuprofen, and some antibiotics, like penicillin. I'm allergic to local anaesthetic, so lidocaine and bupivacaine are the two main ones. If you look back on my Instagram page, there's actually a file of an album full of pictures of older rashes and bad skin that I've had in the past. There's one in particular that's a picture of the side of my jaw with like a scratch along here. I had a tooth out, and where they'd injected me with the anaesthetic, I scratched the outside of a chicken scratched the outside of my face, so I've got this like burn scratch on the outside. Yeah, not fun. So yeah, moving on from that one. Latex is another common one, so gloves and condoms. Mold spores, they can make people's asthma really, really bad, and they're not the best for anyone with healthy lungs, really, are they? Let's be honest. And then household chemicals like cleaning products. So I am allergic to something called potassium dichromate, which is found in paint, floor waxes, household cleaning products like all-purpose sprays, fairy liquid, washing up liquid, things like that. So I'm allergic to that. And yeah, so the difference between an allergic reaction and an intolerance. So if you're allergic to something, like I said before, you'll get some of those symptoms that will show up because of your immune system. So you'll get red itchy rash, watery eyes, a runny nose, hives, whatever. But it will be one of those. With an intolerance, you usually get a really disagreeable digestive response. So you'll have diarrhea, you'll probably feel sick, you'll get stomach cramps. So that's the difference between the two. So there are 8 different categories of allergic conditions. I have experienced 6 out of the 8 of these. So they are hay fever, food allergies, allergic rhinitis, conjunctivitis, hives, eczema, contact dermatitis, and asthma. So asthma is an allergic reaction in the lungs, and it just the pollen is what causes the lungs to react and what makes you cough. Other symptoms that I've noticed in myself, in particular when I'm suffering from hay fever or when I've had an allergic reaction to something that I've eaten, I get on my inside of my septum, I get cuts, and my ears have really bad eczema inside them too. My skin on my face around my nose especially is really sensitive, so when I wipe them, even with the softest tissues, all of this breaks down really fast and I get those cuts, and it's really, really painful. It's not very nice. So yeah, there's that. So treatments. So this, I went on Google to have a look for these guys because I did have a bit of a method in my head of how I wanted to put these together, but that's it. I wasn't 100% sure that I was correct, so I went and did a little bit of research on nhs.com and Google and a couple of other places. So the first one I had to have a little bit of a giggle at because the first thing they suggested was allergen avoidance. Now, I have 4 allergies that they tested me positive for, and one of them was something called dispersed blue mix, which is a dye that's found in blue-black clothing. Allergen avoidance isn't really an option for somebody like me, but realistically, if you can do that, then great. They did put something on there about making your pets live outside, which I don't really agree with. I think if you have a pet, they're supposed to be part of your family. They should live in the house with you, but that's just my opinion. But anyway, the next one is antihistamines. You can get these in tablet form, nasal sprays, gels, creams, oral suspension liquids, or eye drops. I've probably tried every over-the-counter one that you can think of, and a few of the quite strong ones that you can only be prescribed. So I've tried, let's think now, what have we got? Cetirizine, loratadine, chlorphenamine, hydroxyzine hydrochloride. Yeah. Fexofenadine is the one that I take now in quite a large dose. And I've also tried a nasal spray called fluticasone, which is Flixinase. You spray it up the nose, and when it drips down the back of your throat, you can taste it, and it's not very nice, but it is really good. It actually works quite well. But everybody's different. Also, something else I've saw, because I just saw gels on there. There's a gel that you can buy apparently that you can put as a barrier around your nose, so you can put it like around the opening of your nostrils, and it just creates a barrier that catches the pollen before it can go up your nostrils. Not sure if it works, but another thing that you can try. Eye drops, again, you can get ones over the counter, but you can also push for your doctor to give you a little something that's more powerful if you're not comfortable taking tablets or things like that. And you can also get oral liquids as well, which is great, again, if you're not good with taking tablets. Decongestants are really good for relieving symptoms. So you can take things like, I'm not going to say any brand names because I'm not sponsored by anything at the moment, but there are obviously a few things out there that you can take for coughs and colds, which would actually help you relieve your symptoms of an allergic reaction as well. So it reduces the swelling in your nasal passages, sneezing, coughing, that sort of thing. Or we could use creams and liquids. Creams and lotions. Creams and liquids. Creams and lotions. Moisturizing sensitive skin, like mine, can actually protect you to a degree. It can create a barrier on your skin and protect you to a degree from contact allergies. Calamine lotion is a good one. When me and my brother were kids, we had, let's say, a bit of an incident with some stinging nails, and we came home one day and our mum propped us up on the side together. There's only a year and a half between me and my little brother, and she sat us up on the side, and we had hives all over our legs from obviously the stinging nails. And she had brought out this little glass bottle of cream with, it's like this pink liquid in it, and she got some Calmore balls, put some on there, and then rubs it all over mine and my brother's legs, and it went away instantly. It was amazing. So, symptom calmer, definitely. Apparently, oral steroids can be taken to relieve symptoms. Now, I did take oral steroids for a little while, way back when, but I was taking a mix of so many different things, and I was eating things back then that I didn't know were affecting me also, so I didn't really see the effects from those that I probably should have, but it's another thing that you can try. So lastly, tests. Now, one more thing actually. No, there's one more thing that I put at the bottom of here. Somebody, I do not know, I cannot remember for the life of me who this came from, but what you can do is, if you go to, say, like one of your local food house shops, or even your local garden centre, and you pick up a jar of honey that was produced in your local area, apparently if you just eat spoonfuls of that, it will help with your hay fever. Now, I can see where the logic of this is going. I can see that the bees obviously use the pollen from the area that you live in to create this honey, which in turn should give you build some kind of immunity to it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if it works, but again, more advice. Take it or leave it. Give it a go. It's something that, if not, you've had a tasty spoonful of honey. Okay, so the patch tests and the skin tests are the last ones. I don't know why I said tests plural for skin tests. Sorry, for blood tests, because it said there was 2 online, but when I actually looked into it, it was the same tests, just the first one's now moot, and they now call it an ELISA test instead of a RAST test. So I'll start with the blood test because I just have. They test the amount of allergy-specific antibodies in your blood, which I'm not sure what they do with the data with that, but obviously you can ask your GP or a specialist about that, and they can go in a bit more depth with it with you. And skin tests. So the patch test, I've actually had the patch test. I'm not electrics. Patch test. I've got a picture of it actually. I will upload that to my Instagram at some point, probably later on. They put a grid on your back, so they micropore tape this grid of little dishes, I guess, little tiny little dishes inside them, and they've got little allergens in them, and they tape them to your back. And over the course of about a week, they check it, they'll peel it back, they'll draw around the things that you've reacted to, and then they check it every other day. You're not allowed to wash your back for a week, which is a bit gross, but it did shed some light on the stuff that I was allergic to, and one of the ones that came up on there, that dispersed blue mix, the nurse that was treating me had only ever seen that one other time, of course, because it's me. And then there's 2 types of prick test. Pardon my language. That's what they're called. So they put drops onto a strip of bare skin on your arm. Now these tests I can't have because I already take a really high dose of antihistamine. I can't take these tests because it will produce false positives. But anyway, they drop little different types of allergens. It'll be food or I think it's food or pets, food or animals. And they drop the little droplets down your arm, and then they prick them into your skin, and then they see how you react, and you might end up with a little sort of penny-sized hive on your arm. But if that comes up negative, then they'll move on and do what they call an intradermal test, which is they'll just take syringes with the allergen in them and then just poke them directly into your skin, inject them directly into your skin. But that can also affect your whole body, so I would just take precautions. And if you're already taking antihistamines, just if you can avoid them as much as you possibly can before having those skin tests. I'm sure they will probably advise you to do that anyway, but if you can avoid it, great. So yeah, I mean, I think that's about it for today, guys. Yeah, I go to your doctor, persist, persevere, and that's it, guys. BB out.